Hey, this lesson is about comparing integers. So we know that integers are all of the whole numbers and their opposites, and sometimes you may be in a situation where you need to compare them or you need to write a statement about how one is larger than the other. So let's remind ourselves of what those symbols are that we use in mathematics to help us describe these comparisons. So remember that we use these symbols, and this is a less than if I'm reading left to right. Remember in standard English you read from left to right, and you also do that in math. So this is pointing to a value that would be smaller than one that would be to the right of this symbol. This is a greater than. So if I'm reading it left to right, I have a number here. I would say this number greater than whatever that other number is. So for example, a statement using a less than or a greater than could look like this. I could write, let's use a pen that works, that would help. Let's try this one. 3 is less than 10. That's a true statement. Over here, I could write 20 is greater than 15. So in math, you're reading left to right and you get used to those symbols. So now let's take the idea of what we know about integers. Remember their definition? Whole numbers plus their opposites. And let's compare some. And let's always remember that any number to the right on the number line would be larger than a number that would be to the left of it when you're comparing them. So let's just go through some various examples and let's practice plugging in those symbols. So if I look at 15 and 23, I know that 15 is smaller than 23 because 15 is to the left of 23 on the number line. And I'm always going to use that inequality and point it to the smaller value of the two numbers that are being compared. So I would read this as 15 is less than 23. If I go to my next one, I have a negative 3 and a 5. Well, I can see those on my number line. Negative 3 is here, right there. Boom. Positive 5 is over there. So the number that's to the left is always the smaller value. Point your inequality to it. And I'm going to read that as negative 3 is less than 5. Let's go over here to our next one. We have 10 and negative 1 that we're comparing. And I'm going to put an inequality statement in there. So 10 is right here. Negative 1 down here, so I know that 10 is to the right on the number line. It's a larger value, it's greater than. I'm going to point to the smaller value of the 2, and I'll read this as 10 is greater than negative 1. Let's go down here to some other ones. Let's get into some challenge problems where we've got some negative values. We've got negative 18 and negative 15, and we're going to compare those numbers. Now, I can't even see negative 18 on this number line, but I know that negative 18 is way on down there in that direction. And negative 15 would be to the right of it. So the smaller value would be negative 18. And I'm going to point my inequality to the negative 18. And this is how I would read it. Negative 18 is less than negative 15. It's just like the mirror image of the positive values. Let's check this one out. I have a comparison down here of negative 1 and negative 12. And we want to decide which one is smaller. Negative 1 is right here. Negative 12 would be way down here somewhere, even though I don't have it marked on the number line. So I know that the number value that is to the left in the comparison is the smaller of the two. So negative 12, way down there, I'm going to point my inequality to that one. You're always pointing to the smaller value of the two. And I would read this as negative 1 greater than negative 12. Okay? I want you to show me that you understand this by working through some comparisons of some integers on this assignment that I've given you. And it says circle the appropriate number letter next to each exercise. Write the letter in the matching numbered box at the bottom of the page. So what you'll do is you will go through and write in the inequality, like the less than or the greater than, when you compare those two integers. And then you'll go over to the columns and you're going to circle the actual like number and letter to help you figure out the code to the sheet under the column that you choose. Okay? Stop this video at any point and look back over it if you need to.